Welcome back, children. So we'll see the fourth kingdom of Argachvitaker classification, kingdom Plantae. So kingdom Plantae is very easy only. We have learned about first kingdom Munira, second Protista, third Fungi. Now fourth kingdom is Plantae. So this Plantae, it includes all eukaryotic chlorophyll containing organisms. So I'll write, okay, all eukaryotic chlorophyll containing organisms, okay, and it is commonly we'll call it as plants. And few members, they are not photosynthetic, they are called as heterotrophic, such as insectivorous plants or parasites. What is the example for insectivorous plants? We'll tell Venus flytrap, bladderwood. These are the some examples for insectivorous plants, and Cuscuta is the parasite. So these kind of plants alone, they will show heterotrophic mode of nutrition. The remaining other all plant categories starting from bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms, all those groups comes under photosynthetic mode of nutrition only. And here the plant cells have an eukaryotic structure with prominent chloroplast and also cell wall. So if it is a plant, what is the main characteristic of plant means it should contain the chloroplast and also cell membrane is covered by cell wall. These are the two prominent character for plant. So if it is there, we can call it as plant. And here what and all comes under a Plantae kingdom means a Plantae kingdom contains algae, bryophytes, algae, single celled algae alone, it will comes under protist, children, and we can see multicellular algae also. All those multicellular algae will comes under the Plantae only, and bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperm and angiosperms. And what are the examples for multicellular algae, children? There are so many algae like so many brown algae, red algae and green algae is there. So all those multicellular algae, it will comes under the group of kingdom of Plantae. Is that clear, children? So that's all about the Plantae. And here you want to remember one more technical term, alteration of generation. Okay, what do you mean by alteration of generation? It was given in plant kingdom in detail, but it was deleted portion, no? So I'll give it as a short. So plant alteration of generation means imagine any kind of plant, might be algae or bryo or pterido or gymno and also angiosperms. In these plants, normally we can see two phases, okay, we can see two phases, okay. What are those two phases? Means one is sporophyte, another one is gametophyte. One is sporophyte, another one is gametophyte. So I am telling two phases for plants. One is sporophytic generation and another one is gametophytic generation. So if it is a sporophytic generation, it will contain two sets of chromosomes. So we can call it as 2N. If it is a gametophytic stage, it will contain only single N. So single set of chromosomes, okay. So normally plant in its life, it will contain two stages, sporophytic stage and gametophytic stage. They will alter and they will come. This alteration of generation, sporophytic and gametophytic, sporophytic. This alteration of generation, the stages of stages or changes of the stages only we can call it as alteration of generation. So imagine if any kind of plant means, so in its seed it will contains 2N, okay. Imagine from seed is 2N and it will grow, it started to form root, stem, leaf, flower. Every condition is, in every stages it will be in 2N. What is 2N? Two sets of chromosomes will be there, and at maturity it started to form flowers, and during flower formation we can see the formation of pollen grain also in male, and female the ovary also will be ready for fertilization, that is egg. Inside ovary we can see egg cells, no? We have learned in how do organism reproduction chapter. The center we can see the ovary. Inside ovary we can able to see the 8 cells, okay, 8 cells. Okay, the 8 cells center we can see the egg cells and also polar nuclei, everything. And these and all, no, pollen grains and these egg cells and egg apparatus and pollen grains, all those things they'll undergo one division, we can call it as Meiosis division, and the sets of chromosomes is only single N. It is not a 2N. Why? Because during before fertilization, the gametes, okay, it will the sporophytic generation, it will undergo a meiosis division, and it started to form gametes. The gametes are haploid in nature. So sporophyte is diploid in nature. 2N means diploid. Single N means haploid. If it is condition is 3 more than 2 means that is polyploid. That we will learn in genetics in detail. But in this level you will remember single N haploid, 2N diploid. Normally in plant body, diploidic condition we can able to see in sporophytic generation, and haploid condition we can able to see in gametophytic generation. So till root, stem, leaf and formation of flower, the plant body is sporophyte only. They all will contain diploid condition in their cell, and afterwards during maturization it will undergo reduction division, meiosis. So it started to form haploid sets of chromosomes. So the division is meiosis. After the formation of haploid sets of chromosomes, then we would call it as gametes. Now male gamete will be separate, female gamete will be separate. Now one N male and another N female, male plus female, again you will get a zygote. From zygote onwards it is diploid, and from zygote onwards the division is what division? Division is mitosis. So mitosis division is a cell division, will help to give the exact number of chromosomes, exact number of same sets of chromosomes. It will give same sets of cells. So it will help to maintain the sporophytic generation of the plant body. But come to gametophytic, where 2N, for example, if a flower means it started to form the pollen grain, and this again it will undergo meiosis. It started to form, before we would call it as megaspore mother cells and microspore mother cells. So when it is in the microspore mother cells, it will be in the condition of 2N, and after division, meiosis division only, we would call it as pollen grain. So pollen grain is the male gamete. Similarly, female gamete is your egg. So this pollen grain and the egg will be in the single N, that is haploidic condition only. That's why we are call it as, that is gametophytic generation. So in nature, to maintain the same sets of chromosomes in the plant body, during reproduction stage alone, the spores, megaspores, that is female, microspores, that is male, will undergo meiosis division, started to form megametophyte and male gametophyte. So these two are gametophytic stage. These will contains only haploid sets of chromosomes. Again they will fuse, again you will get a diploid sets. So again the sporophytic generation will start. Like this, alternately sporophyte and gametophyte generation will continue. Okay, this is only we'll call it as alteration of generation. I think now you are clear about alteration of generation. For this I'll send one picture also to understand well. Okay, next we'll move on to the kingdom Animalia. So kingdom Animalia, what is the characteristic? We all know that is, it is a heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Hetero means other, trophic means nourishment. So other mode of nourishment. So heterotrophic eukaryotic organisms that are multicellular. If it is a unicellular, we would kept under what category? A protista category. So if it is a multicellular only, we can able to classify under a kingdom Animalia. And also they never have cell wall. So they'll will tell their cells like cell walls, and they directly or indirectly depend on plants for food. That is very, very important. They digest, how they can able to digest their food? With the help of the internal cavity, that is the presence of the stomach, and all the intestine will help to secrete so many enzymes for its digestion. And at last, whatever we are taking food, no, at last it will stored in the form of glycogen or fat. Okay, glycogen or fat, it will be stored in the adipose tissues of a human body or adipose tissues of animals. So most of them are capable of locomotion. Locomotion means movement. So normally most of the animals will move from one place to another place. So animals need more energy, so they used to consume more food when compared to plant. Plant is not move from, it won't move from one place to another place, no, so they don't want much energy. So actually when compared to plant, animal has more mitochondria, plant has only lesser mitochondria. Why? Because the mitochondria, what is the role of mitochondria? That is only, we can call it as the energy energy part of the cell. Okay, so where we can see more consumption or more useful of energy means only in animals. So animal cells we can see more mitochondria than that of the plant cells. That we'll learn in the third unit also. So that's all about the animal kingdom. Okay, next we'll move on to the another category. So till now we are clear, no? That's all about the Argachipithecus 5 kingdom classification. And here so we have learned Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae, Animalia. That's all. And Argachipithecus, he didn't bother about lichen and virus, viroids. So he didn't add these kind of categories anywhere. So, but it is all important only. So for that we want to learn separately. But Argachipithecus didn't include lichen or he talked about the fungi, mycorrhiza fungi, but he didn't include lichen into the fungi group. So he didn't bother about lichen and virus, viroid, etc. So we want to learn separately. It won't comes under the Argachipithecus classification. So we all know the lichens, they'll undergo symbiotic association, meaning they'll have a mutual relationship between algae and fungi. Okay, and if it is algae, we can call it as pycobiont. So study about algae is pycology, study about fungi is mycology. So pycobiont and mycobiont, we can see a lichen, and it is also autotrophic and heterotrophic, because autotrophic means the plant part is autotrophic, heterotrophic is fungi part. And algae prepare food for fungi, and fungi provide shelter and absorb mineral nutrition and water for its partner. Likewise, vice versa, a mutual relationship will be there between algae and fungi. So close is their association that if one saw a lichen in nature, one would never imagine that they had two different organisms within them. So now look at the structure of lichen. No? So this lichen, we can't able to imagine two partners are living together in the lichen. So where we can able to see the lichen we can able to see the pollution free areas. So we can call it as a very good pollution indicators. So they do not grow in polluted areas. For example, if nitrogen oxide is there or sulfur dioxide is there, it won't grow. So lichen act as a good indicator for pollution. So we can able to see lichen in most of the hilly areas and also in Ooty, and it is actually it has so many types. Lichen itself, we can able to see some different types of lichen. Okay, so there are 3 types of lichen, children. Crustose, okay, crustose, crustose, crustose lichen. And what do you mean by crustose lichen means? Actually crust like. Okay, this crustose lichens are nothing but a crust like only. It was firmly or closely attached to the substratum. For example, we can able to see in the rocky areas. Okay, these kind of crustose lichens we can able to see in the rocky areas. So it was closely attached to the substratum. And second category is foliage, FO. So first is crustose, we have learned. Second is foliose, FOLIOSE, foliase. First is crustose, CRUSTOSE. Second is foliose, FOLIOSE. What do you mean by foliage? Actually, this foliage lichens are very, very flat. Okay, they are flat, and F for F, it is just leaf-like. Okay, you can remember foliage leaf we tell, no? So it is just like a leaf-like, and it will be just not like crustose. Crustose means it is firmly attached to the substratum, and foliage means we can able to see little bit body will come out from the substratum. So that is only we can call it as foliase. And third category is we can call it as fruticose. Okay, Fruticose. What do you mean by fruticose, children? And this is also a lichen, but this lichen is little bit advanced. They are all very branched. Okay, we can able to see the lichen very distinctly, very clearly. It is all branched. So this fruticose lichen is branched. So if the question is like that in your competitive exam, give example for branched lichen means you want to go for fruticose. So crustose, it is firmly attached to the substratum. Foliase, a leaf-like substance, and we can able to see root-like structures. Okay, and little bit advanced when compared to the crustase. And fruticase, it is all well branched lichen is fruticase. Okay, and actually this also will undergo like fragmentation, like how other organisms will undergo reproduction. This lichen also will undergo reproductions. So for example, asexual reproduction by fragmentation. Okay, and we have other types also like Isidia, Soridia. These are the some methods we can able to see in the asexual reproduction, even in the lichen also. Okay, lichen also we can able to see the reproduction, asexual reproduction. And here actually this lichen is some of the lichens are edible, and normally what we used to prepare biryani and all. So biryani also they used to add the lichen. So lichen is edible part only. And here there are so many types of lichen. What I told is only the type. If you want, you can write some example. For example, crustose lichen means you can write crustose lichen. You can write one example. Graphis. For crustose, write one example. Graphis. Graphis. Graphis is one example for crustose lichen. And write one example for foliase. Foliase lichen is Parmelia. 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 Parmelia is one example for foliase. And what is the popular example for fruticose lichen means? Usnea. 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 So in your level, you remember picobiont plus mycobiont, you will get a lichen. So lichen will be in the pollution free places, and it is of three types: crustose lichen, foliase, fruticose. Crustose means it is just a crust like firmly attached to the substratum. Example for crustose is graphis. Second category foliase, it is a leaf like, and the example is Parmelia. Fruticase lichen, it is well branched. The example is Usnea. Okay, is that clear, children? So next we'll move on to the next category, virus, viroids. Okay, that I'll explain in next video. Thank you, children.